Skagway is an amazing port with terrific outdoor adventures and a fascinating history. It was the boomtown gateway to the Klondike goldfields and maintains its gold rush ambience today. In this video, we'll unveil the wonders of Skagway and provide our recommendations to have an incredible day. Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're a cruising good time.
We love Skagway, Alaska. There are so many things to do. We love the nature, the adventure, and of course the history. And when we go there, we always do 3 fabulous activities or more in each day. But it can be kind of overwhelming to pick what is the best thing to do on your trip. So in this video, we're going to put things in different categories: history and culture, nature and adventure, and of course, hiking. And in the video, we'll also discuss how easy it is to get around town.
One of the things I like about Skagway is it's really held on to its mining culture. Gold was discovered in 1896 up in the Klondike on the Bonanza Creek. And when the word got back into Seattle on a newspaper, the gold rush was on for the Klondike. And so Skagway became a boom town with all the stampeders coming through there in 1897, 1898. And unfortunately, a lot of them perished. But the town itself has really preserved the feel of that mining town. And that's one of the things we really like about it. And one of the cool things about it is the Whitepass and Yukon Railroad. It's a narrow gauge railroad, follows that path of the Skagway River right up through the Whitepass. It's the same one the miners went through back in the day. And it's a real enjoyable trip with a lot of great scenery and just a lot of fun. And let's face it, I'm a railroad nut. I love to ride these narrow gauge railroads. And so it's just a hoot for me to go do that. I try to catch it in all the time.
We've put a link to our video on this train in the description below.
Yep.
So the city of Skagway really maintains that ambiance from the gold rush, and it has wonderful things to see. So one of our other favorite activities is a walking tour through town.
Yep.
And while you're in your walking tour, there's great museums to pop in, great foodie places, a couple of terrific breweries. This can be a really fun day. We recommend that you start your day at the depot for the Whitepass and Yukon Railroad.
And that's real easy to get to because if you take the train ride, they will have a stop at the depot so you can get off right there in town. But don't worry, if you don't do the train ride, it's not a very far walk. Skagway is not very big. Real easy to walk from your cruise ship right over into the downtown area.
Yeah, and we recommend you go through the depot. It's really fun to go inside, look around.
Yep.
So close to the depot is that Stampede Statue. Really recommend you go and take that in. It's really a marvelous piece of art.
And right next to the park is the giant snow plow that they used on the train. It can clear out feet of snow instead of inches of snow at one time. And it's kind of fun to get a good picture in front of. And right across the street is Red Onion Saloon, a very popular hangout. Get some beer and do some tours there as well. It's kind of a fun place to go visit.
Yeah, that's one of the iconic places that tourists go to. And interestingly enough, another great place to get a beer is practically across the street at the Klondike Brewing Company. So you may or may not select to get another adult beverage, but then from there you can go on to the Arctic Brotherhood Hall. And this is one of the most photographed buildings in all of Alaska.
I agree. It's very unique architecture right there. Right there near it is Carrington's Alaska Ivory and Museum. So they have some of the old ivory carvings from back in the day. It's a neat thing to kind of take in there as well.
You know, it's really a store, but it has a combination of a lot of interesting and eclectic things to walk through and see. We do highly recommend that you stop by the Klondike Doughboy.
Yeah, fry bread's really delicious. To me, it kind of tastes a little bit like a funnel cake. But I think a lot of people may feel differently about that.
Yeah, I don't really think it tastes much like a funnel cake. But it is, I find it much more unique than that, possibly a little more healthy. But that's a fun stop.
Yep. The Skagway Brewing Company is right down 4th Street. What's unique about that is they make this Spruce Tip Beer, or Spruce Tip Lager, which is actually very delicious. The Spruce Tip kind of gives a little citrusy taste to it, and I do enjoy that.
They also have some great food to go along with it.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really fun stop, and we really recommend that you stop by here.
Yep.
We have had a terrific lunch at that station bar and grill. Really highly recommend it. Loved the fried halibut, had some fish and chips there. It was fabulous.
We really do recommend that. It's very good food, and it's just a good time.
It also felt it's a little more off the touristy path than the other places mentioned.
Yeah, a lot of the locals kind of hang out there, I think.
So another fun thing to walk through is the Historic Moore Homestead over on 5th Street.
Yep. One of the things my mother really likes about Skagway is the Days of the 98 show right there. It's a kind of a Gold Rush themed musical show. A lot of fun. Performed right there in Eagles Hall, right there in Skagway. A lot of shore excursions to go to see that as well. So it's pretty easy to take in if you want to do that.
So another thing that my in-laws liked, instead of doing the walking tour, they really liked taking the trolley tour. Mm-hmm. So it took them through town, also took them out of town over by the old graveyard. Yep. And they loved hearing the history in a laid-back ride in a 1927 tour bus. Another thing I like about this streetcar tour is you get the opportunity where you're going to look at the National Historic Park and get some great panoramic views. The next category is nature and adventure. And Skagway has so many amazing opportunities, from helicopter riding and zip lining and e-biking and rock climbing where you're actually outdoors, ATVs, rafting, canoeing, kayaking. List just goes on and on. And a couple of my favorite things are to take a helicopter tour and land on a glacier. And you get out and walk around. This is by far my favorite Alaskan adventure, to get out and walk on a glacier and realize how amazingly large and expansive they are and just so much grandeur. So that's my number one. My number two favorite thing to do for outdoor adventure in Skagway is ziplining. So I love ziplining, and they have a couple of different shore excursions that are really fabulous. I love being out in the rainforest and all that exhilaration in the canopy of the trees.
Another real popular adventure that you can do in Skagway is the dog mushing camps. They got a large dog mushing camp right there. You can go, and they'll actually, the dogs will pull a cart on wheels instead, because there's no snow on the ground in middle of August, but they'll pull a cart so you can actually ride in a dog sled and learn about all how they raise the dogs and what the dogs do and all that sort of thing. It's a very informative tour, a lot of fun. There's a nearby city of Haines, Alaska, which is just a short boat ride away, or a very long drive away if you go that way. But it's only about a 45-minute boat ride over to Haines, and you can take that Haines in as well. There's a lot to do there. It's a different feel than Skagway altogether. And then finally, you can go to a suspension bridge over the Yukon River up in Canada. Go visit that, and then that's usually tied in with a salmon bake. You can come back in there. They do a big salmon bake, a lot of fun, a lot of good food. We did that when our daughters were pretty young, and one of them did not like salmon at all. She came back from that loving salmon. She wanted to have salmon every day, it seemed like, when we got back home, because she just fell in love with it. So it's a lot of fun. There's so much to do in Skagway. So really check it out, and it goes much more beyond just the railroad.
Yeah, and you may want to check out our video that talks about when to go to Alaska, as a lot of these nature activities will be closed certain times a year. We're going to leave a link to our Alaska videos in the comments below. So the next category is hiking. So Skagway has 12 pretty convenient hiking trails of varied degrees of difficulty. So we recommend that you throw a hike into your day.
Yeah, and there's some real pretty easy ones that aren't too strenuous. We've done this with the family, 3 generations on it. It's about a 3-mile loop, leaves right there by the cruise ship, goes right up by Dewey Lake, and it's very scenic up there. It's a beautiful lake with a lot of trees and all that, and kind of check it out. And it's an easy walk back down the hill, nothing too steep, and it's a real fun one to do. Also, along the way, you get some great views of the inlet and the cruise ship down below and Skagway itself. So it's a lot of nice sightseeing just to check out the views you see from on walking on that trail.
Oh, and the name of this trail is the Lower Dewey Lake Trail. There is also an Upper Dewey Lake Trail for those who want a little more length and difficulty.
Yeah. And there's several other trails on the other side of Skagway from there, and you walk around up over by the river and check all that. There's some falls you can walk up to right up the river way a little bit and see those.
Yes, next time we are going to be hiking up to the Lower Reed Falls.
So check out our playlist on Alaska videos on our channel. We have a ton of information out there about just about every port and when to go and everything else. And if you're going to other places in the world, we also have playlists for other parts of the world out there too.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. It really helps us out.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.